Welcome, everyone. Today, we're putting on our digital detective hats for a brand new explainer. We are going to decode a high-stakes civil case directly from a public court dashboard. There is just an incredible amount of drama, strategy, and legal weight hidden behind these standard administrative interfaces if you just know where to look. We're going to take a single snapshot of a court portal and unpack the whole story behind it. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. Decoding the court dashboard. 2. Meet the plaintiff. 3. The 4 defendants. 4. The unlawful act charge. And 5. Case timeline and status. Section 1. Decoding the court dashboard. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is where this whole legal battle actually takes place. Notice the SIP. That's the System Information Penelusuran Perkara. It's the official case tracking information system used by Indonesian courts. But more specifically, you'll see up at the top left that this is the portal for the Pengadilan Negeri Jakarta Pusat, the Central Jakarta District Court. And listen, this isn't just any local courthouse. Central Jakarta is an absolutely critical hub for major Indonesian civil and commercial litigation. When cases land here, they usually involve really high stakes, complex corporate disputes, or significant civil matters. So while the interface might look like just a simple spreadsheet, it's actually the digital heartbeat of the Indonesian justice system. Our target today is solely case number 787/PDT G/2025/PN-JKT.PS. That PDTG right there, that tells us we're looking at a standard civil lawsuit or gugatan. And what's super vital to note here is the exact timestamp of our data pull. If you look at the top right of the dashboard, you'll see our snapshot is from Tuesday, June 9th, 2026 at precisely 03:58:26 Western Indonesian time. I want to point that out because it really anchors us in the current reality of the case. We are looking at real-time administrative data that reflects exactly where these parties stood on that specific day in June 2026. Moving on to Section 2, Meet the Plaintiff. This is where the story gets incredibly fascinating, right? Because lawsuits are ultimately driven by the people behind them. Take a look at this massive list of credentials for our plaintiff, Dr.Alessandro. When you initiate a lawsuit in Central Jakarta, you really need to be prepared. And Dr. is quite literally the definition of prepared. He doesn't just have a doctorate. He holds an SH and an MH. That's his bachelor's and master's in law. He holds an MKN, a master of notary, which gives him this really deep expertise in contract and corporate formalities. And hey, just in case that wasn't enough, he also holds a BSc in science and an MBA in business administration. Whoever's on the other side of this lawsuit isn't just facing a legal argument, they're facing a multidisciplinary powerhouse. Which brings us to Section 3, the 4 defendants. So who could possibly be on the receiving end of a lawsuit from such an intensely credentialed plaintiff? Well, it turns out the defendants are packing some equally serious professional artillery. On the dashboard, under tergugat, or defendants, we've got 4 individuals. First up, Syaefudin, who holds degrees in economics and law. Second is Julianto, an economist with a Master of Management and a professional accounting certification. Third is Sulaiman, bringing another law degree and Master of Management to the table. And finally, Rika Ayuni, who holds a Bachelor of Engineering and a Master of Management. So we're looking at top-tier experts in economics, law, management, accounting, and engineering. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer weight of professional expertise involved in this single clash. We've got one plaintiff with 5 degrees going head-to-head against 4 defendants with 9 degrees combined. That is 14 advanced academic and professional degrees concentrated into one single civil dispute. It tells us for sure that whatever the core issue is here, it's highly technical, heavily documented, and fiercely contested by professionals who know exactly how to navigate complex systems. Section 4, the unlawful act charge. Now let's shift to the what. Under the Klasifikasi Perkara column, it reads Perbuatan Melawan Hukum. That translates to an unlawful act, commonly known in other jurisdictions as a tort. Now, this is a very broad, very powerful legal classification based on Article 1365 of the Indonesian Civil Code. It essentially means the plaintiff is claiming these 4 defendants committed an act or maybe failed to act in a way that violated the law and caused measurable harm. Because of that, Dr. Ray's core demand here is restitution. He's demanding that these 4 professionals be held officially liable and forced to provide compensation to make him whole again. But that brings up a really natural question, right? We have this highly complex case, a brilliantly credentialed plaintiff, 4 professional defendants, and a broad tort claim demanding restitution, all sitting in one of the busiest courts in Indonesia. So how long does a complex case like this actually take to process through the system?
Let's find out in Section 5, Case Timeline and Status.
Let's see how this builds into our final analysis of the timeline. The dashboard gives us two critical dates to frame this up. Under Tungle Register, we can see the case was officially filed and registered in the court system on November 13, 2025. And as we noted at the very beginning, our snapshot of this SIP dashboard was taken on June 9, 2026. This is perfect because it allows us to measure the exact lifespan of the active litigation.
So the crucial point is right here, 158. If you look all the way to the far right of the SIP row, under the column Lama Process, or processing time, the system officially logs this case at exactly 158 days. For a major civil dispute involving multiple parties and a complex unlawful act claim, resolving the active phase of the trial in essentially 5 months, that really highlights a specific and honestly quite fast procedural pace at the Central Jakarta District Court.
But how do we actually know the active phase is over? Well, by looking at the status perkara, or case status column, which plainly reads minutasiasi. Minutasiasi is the final administrative phase of a trial in Indonesia. Basically, it means the judges have reached their decision, the hearings are completely over, and the court clerks are now actively typing up, assembling, and finalizing the official binding verdict documents. The arguments have been made, the evidence has been weighed, and this massive legal battle between Dr. Ray and the 4 defendants is definitively concluding. Which leaves us with this final thought. As Case 787 concludes its 158-day journey into Minute, we really have to wonder what actually happened in that courtroom. I mean, when a plaintiff with 5 degrees takes on 4 defendants with 9 degrees in a central commercial court demanding restitution for an unlawful act, the paperwork alone must be staggering, right? What hidden precedents might this clash of credential titans set for future civil disputes? While the SIP dashboard gives us the structural skeleton of the case, it's the human element and that intense professional expertise that truly brings a law to life. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep your eyes open, because every piece of public data has a fascinating story to tell.